If you want to pressurize this to max pressure, you're going to be struggling to break the barrel. Don't pump fast. You want to do slow pumps. You lift up your lever, hit your bleeder valve, okay, until you have it where you want it. If you don't do that quite right, you can risk emptying the air out of the gun, which then it's a real pain to get this thing pressurized again. Let's go ahead and take a look at this trigger. Yeah, it's a boat anchor. I mean, it really is. And I cleaned this barrel.
633.
Hold on a minute here. What the hell is going on? This optic is trash. Oh, man. You'll feel like you came out of the gym when you're done out there with this thing. Is it the pellets or is it the gun? I've seen enough. What is going on, everyone? Riddict here, and welcome to Off the Shelf Airguns. Today we are out here with the Venturi OmniStorm. That's right, this is their new power adjustable brake barrel. So let's get into it. All right, folks, here we are with the Venturi OmniStorm. Alrighty, and start things off. It does have fiber optic hooded front sight. Your rear is adjustable for elevation and windage, and these are actually pretty nice sights. You do have 11mm dovetail for an optic, which it does come with a 4x32. And then here is where you adjust your power. Take this little cap off, all right? And that is where your pump will go, which I will show you in just a minute. That back on there. Safety, forward safety, you've seen those a bunch. And it does set every time you break the barrel, so keep that in mind. Got a nice little rubber butt pad on the back there. The stock is all polymer. All right, so synthetic polymer. There's your little AV logo on the bottom there. And this is the 22 caliber version. It does come in a 177. It doesn't exactly have a moderator or anything on it. It just has a little shroud on the end. So if you go full power with this thing, you may need one. But if you're like mid-range, you might be all right. You might be all right because it's not too bad. All right, so now this is the whole gimmick with this, is that you can adjust the power, right? Let's go ahead and set this down. And you get this pump. This is the pump you get right here. Okay. And there's your PSI gauge. Now, you don't have to fret because the PSI only goes up to the max that the gun is allowed. So you can't go further than that. I mean, you could, but the gauge does not go further than that. So once you've hit that 600, you're at the max pressure allotted for this gun. They say minimum because you don't want to go to zero, and I'll tell you right now, you definitely don't want to go to zero, and I'll tell you why in a minute. On the specs it says 217 PSI is the minimum you want to go, but I honestly would not go below 250. I'd say, you know, right at 250, don't go below that if you're going low power, all right? Because when I was initially getting this thing going off camera, I had some issues. Figuring this thing out for the first time, I've never used something like this. Obviously, there is a different version of this, a much more expensive version of this in the HW90. This is like a budget version, right? The Venturi came out with a budget version, so that's what this is, and I've never messed with one, so I was learning. You want to screw this down onto the thing, but you don't want to screw it down tight all the way to the end. You want to screw it down until it's almost tight, and then only one or two turns back. So you want it almost tight or at tight, and then turn it back one or two turns so it's not totally tight, because you want the wiggle room to lower your lever here, all right, and engage the fill valve. So, and then because if you don't do that quite right, you can risk emptying the air out of the gun, which then it's a real pain to get this thing pressurized again. I got it back, but once it was depressurized, it was not fun. The little valve stem right here, this, once it's depressurized, this moves. Like this will move, slide back and forth, and then you have to fiddle with it to get it right back in the correct position again in order to get it pressurized again. So a little bit of a pain there, so don't do that. That's why I'm saying, don't drop it below 250 PSI. This is the bleeder valve right here, so if you have it under a higher pressure and you want to lower the pressure, you would put this on there, screw it down like I said, pull down your lever, and then simply you'll see the pressure. Once you got it on there and pull that down, you will see the pressure, and then just click your bleeder valve until the gauge is where you want it. Keep in mind that whenever you go to take this off, obviously you have to undo your lever, and I'm going to show you close-ups of how to do this. You lift up your lever, hit your bleeder valve, and just touch it as it goes down, okay, until you have it where you want it. You got to find that sweet spot to let the air out, right? You'll have little bits of air coming out here and there, but if you just find that sweet spot, it'll come down. But when you do that, you're going to lose a few points of PSI in the process. It's going to happen every time. It's not going to be exact. So if you wanted it 300 PSI, then you're going to have to go past 300 PSI by like maybe 20 or so, and then do that, and then it'll end up at 300 PSI getting this when you get this off, okay? Pump, as you can see, this is how it works. Also, when you're pumping this, don't pump fast. You want to do slow pumps, because pumping fast will actually heat things up, and you'll end up with a lesser PSI or power than you wanted, because if it heats up, it's gonna let more air out or whatever. That's at least what it says in the instructions. So you just want to ease her in there, and it's going to take a little bit to fill this. All right, it's not just going to be a few pumps and you're ready to go. You're going to be there for a minute doing this until you get it to where you want it. First time using something like this, guys, so bear with me. Now, we're just going to do some plinking to start things off, and then we'll have a little bit of accuracy on the paper without the optic. I'll show you the optic that it comes with. It is the most standard 4x32 that you've seen in most air guns packed in, all right? So, but don't worry, we will use the optic. It claims 500 to 850 FPS. I don't know if that's with alloy or whatever. It could be, I don't know, I didn't really look. The box is right here. It just says 500 to 850 FPS. So we will have the chronograph running to see what's going on there, okay? And today, we're just gonna be using these, the Crosman hollow points. These are the 22 caliber, 14.3 grain, and that's all we're gonna use today. And don't worry, for those of you that like the pellet testing and all that stuff, I don't do just one and done videos. We're gonna do several videos on this. We'll do different pellet testing, we'll do a full-blown accuracy test at different yardages and stuff like that. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell so you're notified when the videos go up, all right? Start things out the right way here. Breaking this barrel is a bit of a beast, You definitely, if you want to pressurize this to max pressure, you're going to be struggling to break the barrel. I had to use two hands to break it when I had it up at 500 PSI, and that's not even the max 600 PSI. So yeah, it's going to be tough. If you want it easier to break, you're going to have to be 300 or under, between the 250 and 300 PSI range, okay? So just keep that in mind. Here we go. Pa-ting! And I will say the trigger is a little heavy. We're going to take a look at that here in a minute. It doesn't look like it's readily adjustable, so you may have to get in there and fiddle around. I'm sure Nibs over at Walnut and Steel can figure it out if he gets one, and then he can let you all know exactly how to do it. All right. So keep that in mind as well. Let's try the black diamond out there. Yeah, pong. It's definitely a heavy trigger, guys. There's just no two ways about it. That's going to be a deal breaker for some, especially when there's no just easy way to adjust it. You will have to take things apart in order to get in there. About over here. Oop, missed that one. Man. I have mine set at about 350 PSI, so it's kind of in the middle. Kind of right in the middle. There we go. Obviously, the max PSI is going to get you that 850 FPS, and I don't know, man. it's a beast to break down at that pressure. We'll see what it's doing at the 350 FPS, because that's where mine is at. It's in between 300 and 350. It's closer to 350. But again, as I said, when you take that valve off, you will lose a few in your PSI when you do that, okay? So now let's go ahead and take a look at this trigger, all right? When you break the barrel, it sets the safety every time. So keep that in mind as well. But let's see what the trigger is doing here, because it is beastly, in my opinion. Let's find out. And don't dry fire these, okay? Or any brake barrel for that matter. You definitely don't want to do that. You're going to mess things up, mess up seals, and then wonder why things aren't working. So anytime we're working with a brake barrel, make sure there's a pellet in it if you're doing any kind of testing, okay? Here we go. Yeah. 7 pounds. 7 pounds, 9.5 ounces, folks. It's a boat anchor. I mean, it really is. I don't know what else to say. It's a boat anchor. Let's try it again. You know, maybe it's not as bad, but it really is. It is beastly. But we'll give her a fair chance here. We'll do one more. We'll do one more. I don't know, though. She's a beast. Here we go. Yeah, guys. 7 pounds, 10.8 ounces. That's just the way it is, you know? Not much I can say about it, guys. But luckily, it's super easy to get this stock off of here, and you'll be able to get in there and fiddle with it. All right, we're all set up to put some on paper at 25 yards using these Crossman hollow points from Spain, which I've noticed some inconsistencies with these already. Some fit real loose, some fit real tight. That's what she said. I know. We're gonna start out with open sights, and then we'll put the optic on it. I'll get that adjusted up off camera, so I don't have to sit through that. Let's see what we get. Okay. I don't think we registered on the crony. Let me set that back a little bit. Here we go. $644, 196. And that's about halfway, like I said, between 325, 350 PSI or something. So not bad. So if you take it up higher, you're gonna hit their claimed for sure. Man, but that's still, it's gonna be a beast to break at that pressure. An absolute beast, but it'll hit it. I don't even know where I hit the target on that one. I was more focused on if the crony was gonna work there. $636, 194. Man, I cannot see that at all. But then again, my eyes ain't getting any better. Mr. Open Sight Shooter here. Might have to use optics more often, or maybe I'm using too many optics, and that's why I'm getting rusty on the open sight shooting. You know, usually better than this. But then again, could be pellets, could be the gun. $633, 193. Well, the FPS is nice. We're going to do one more because I can't see what I'm doing. It may not look that dark on camera, but it's also getting dark. So that's playing a part in it. I'm having trouble seeing. Now that one fit really snug. See, I don't know how I feel about that.
617, 188.
Probably was a good thing that it fit snug. Well, I would want them to, and you know, she wants them to as well. 617, it dropped a little bit. Nothing crazy though, still up there in the 600s. So let me go ahead and off camera, I'm gonna put the optic on it and see what we can do with that. All right, folks, we got the optic on it now, and I will tell you this optic is trash. I mean, we should know this already, but yes, the optic that comes with it, it's no good. It really isn't. It was an absolute nightmare getting this thing sighted in, and it still ain't even that great. And also, in the process, figuring out that these Crosman Premiers also aren't that great in it. I mean, maybe they're not terrible, but they're also not that great in it. But when we do the pellet testing, that'll really tell us what's going on. Is it the pellets or is it the gun? Which we will be doing that one in the next video. The next video will be the pellet testing for this, okay? So let's get it going. Oh my God. You get your workout shooting this thing, I'll tell you that right now, between breaking it down and the trigger pull and everything else. Good night. Wow. And this time I'm actually recording the chronograph screen. I didn't have it recording last time. Sorry about that. Here we go.
$633, 193.
Hold on a minute here. What the hell is going on? Oh, man. Don't worry. When we come back to do the pellet testing, I'm going to have an actual decent optic on this, because this thing is absolute garbage. Let's see here. Okay. It didn't register on the chronograph on that one. May have bumped it. May have bumped it. Ay, ay, ay. All right.
$633.
What is going on?
193.
Okay. I think I see what's going on. Boy. Yeah. This optic's all over the place. It's probably already destroyed from all the bouncing around.
$627, 191.
That is crazy. That is crazy. What is... Wow, man. I don't know. Whoop. Seen that one had a little funky business on the skirt, so this ought to be stupid. Even more stupid. Can it get any more stupid? I have no idea.
$600.
Well?
22. 190.
That one landed on the target. And I cleaned this barrel before anybody starts jippering around. I cleaned the barrel. Probably could use another cleaning. But, I mean, I was doing better with open sights. Even though it wasn't great, you could see I was doing better with open sights. And not only that, but hitting, when we were just plinking, hitting the targets just fine with the open sights. So, I mean, that really tells you that the majority of the problem here is probably with this optic. Okay? So...
$600.
I just hit the same spot.
190.
I think I just hit the same spot, didn't I? Or close to it. We'll do two more. I don't know. Look, I know you guys want to use the pack-in scopes. You're on a budget and everything else, but man, you know, It's not much to get even just a decent one from Amazon or anything like that, and not be breaking the bank or anything like that, okay? Because this is just, I don't know.
$624, $190.
If that would be consistent, that would be nice. But this is also probably, could be a combo platter of the pellets and the scope. Keep that in mind. In the pellet test video that we will do next, in the next video, we're going to have a known good optic on here and a whole slew of pellets to go through and see what happens. All right, then we will know. Then we will know, because I'm not going to count the gun out just yet. I'm going to clean the barrel again and do all that good stuff, because just plinking, I'm hitting things fine with the open sights. So we'll see. We'll see.
$617,
Starting to get on.
$188.
I mean, it's on there a little bit better now than where we started at. Jeez. And it's just, I don't know. This optic just seems really funky, floaty, something. I don't know.
$628, $191.
Okay, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. So, let me go ahead and, all right, whatever, doesn't matter. Optic on this, the pack-in scope, look, maybe yours will work. I don't know. Mine ain't working that great. I really have to adjust in Kentucky windage and everything else just to get somewhere with this thing. And you saw me with the open sights. I plinked just fine, no problem plinking, hitting any of my plinking targets. The paper target with the open sights, it wasn't no tight group, but again, it's 25 yards and I'm using open sights, so I can't see it that great. So, and I am a little woo-woo, even though I'm on the rest, okay? So with the open sights, I mean, it did better with the open sights at 25 yards, even though it wasn't great by any means, okay? And I didn't really fight with it. I was just, you know, aiming where I was aiming, shot where I shot. With this optic that comes with it, this is literally the cheapest, most bump-kiss optic you can possibly get, okay? It's the one you see in all kinds of super budget air guns, all right? So you're not, trust me, you're not getting this and hoping the optic is, you know, gonna be good, because it ain't gonna be good. Or you may get a good one, you may, but I don't know how long it'll last after it's rattled around with the fact of the matter of it jumping around about. It is a gas piston. It doesn't have a ton of jumpiness, but man, I shouldn't have to be fighting that much to get it on the paper, at least on the target, right? And I mean, I'm having to fight and figure and move and everything else, and they're not consistent. Plus, these could be part of the problem as well. But again, plinking, open sights, paper open sights, we were still on the target. Again, not great, but we were on there. Did miss a couple, but again, hard to see. Not even gonna say anything there. So I'm not gonna totally count these out yet, but I don't think they're the best in this, which we will find out in the pellet test video, which we will be doing next. So make sure you don't miss that by subscribing, hitting the notification bell so you're notified when I upload more videos. And I will say this, I think this is a really cool idea. Very cool idea with the pump and all that, right? I have it at 350 PSI, and it is an absolute workout shooting this thing, especially for how long I've been out here shooting it. But it is an absolute workout. If you take this up to the max PSI, you are absolutely gonna have to use two hands. There's just no way about it. Unless you're the Hulk or something, you are going, and I'm pretty strong, okay? I have no problem with most brake barrels, but this, at 350 PSI where I have it, is about it's like on the higher end. If you think of a brake barrel that's, you know, kind of hard to break down, it would be considered on the higher end of that. Whereas if you take this up, man, it is gonna be a two-hander, and that's all there is to it. I don't know what else to tell you. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. But You can adjust it down, adjust it up, you know. I mean, 628 FPS with a 22 caliber pellet, still good enough to pest and some possible small game hunting, right? And they're 14.3 grain, so we were using anyway. So there is that, okay? There is that. And still, 628 FPS, only mid power is pretty good for a 22 caliber pellet. So yeah, if you want that full power though, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. I mean, I'd say just about any standard break barrel in 22 caliber, budget I should say, probably is about that range, 600 and some. So just know that if you're gonna get this because it's claiming power, now, I don't know about the 177 caliber, maybe the 22 caliber is a little tougher to break down, I don't know. But the 177 caliber, it may be a little easier on you. That one claims up to 1100 FPS, but this one claims up to 850. And if you're trying to hit that, it's gonna be a workout. Now, if you're just using this as like a little survival thing you're taking with you or whatever, that might be fine because you can just sit there, do the two hands, right, and get it going. But if you're gonna be out there shooting on a day at the range or something like that, or a nice afternoon in the backyard, you're gonna be tired after a while. So I would recommend actually lowering the pressure down, not to the lowest, like I said, you want to do that, but maybe down to 250, 275, so that way you're not, you know, going crazy, right? Like you're at the, you'll feel like you came out of the gym when you're done out there with this thing. So, yeah. Air Venturi OmniStorm. I do like the idea, but the verdict's still out. The verdict is still out on this, folks, and we will be doing multiple videos coming up to see what my final verdict will be. With that said, I will catch you all down the road.